Oh, hey, how are y'all doing? I am just finishing up doing this blue on this page. There we go. I just did a light coat all over, and this is kind of a lot of review, but as I think of little tips and stuff throughout, I will mention those too. All right, I am back in Small Victories. And let's go ahead and turn to this page. I've got my Dollar Tree frosted cutting board or cutting mat. They come in a 2-pack. I've got it cut down to size just to keep me from indenting into the paper behind. So, now sometimes, yeah, these pencils sharpen really good. Sometimes I see people do a page and it looks so beautiful, and then you see that background. I know I'm all over backgrounds again, but you see that background that is kind of just scribbled on there. And so somebody said they were having a hard time with backgrounds over in one of the groups. So we'll just come over and do your little swirls just all over, and that will finish taking out all those little lines that you have, all those little imperfections. Now, what if you have a set of pencils that doesn't have a whole lot of different shades? Okay, maybe you've got Crayola and you've got the original 12. What are you going to do for a darker shade? You can leave it like this. That is not a problem. But you know me, I'm all about getting that extra depth. Well, I am using the Grizaye, and this is a blue violet number 51. I'm going to come in just where all of my V's are. Same pencil I was just using. Did you notice that? Same pencil. I'm just adding more pressure so that it does actually look and appear to be two different pencils. The other thing is, if you're using the same color, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to blend because you're blending into itself. All right, so let's just do a little bit through here. I'm going to do a little bit in here just because this is underneath what will be greenery later. All right, did you see me turn my pencil just now? Okay, that's one of those little tips, and I don't talk about it a lot, but once I've started getting a flat edge on that pencil, then I'm going to turn it so that I get another point to put down in my V. Okay, and see, I just blend that out. Not difficult, not hard, but I want you to look now at the difference between this and this. Okay, and I would just keep going anywhere where there's a little V or where something would be overlapping and maybe need a little bit of a darker shade to pop that item up to the front just a bit. See, when I go around that a little bit darker, it makes that little flower look like it's boosted up towards the front. And I would do this all around the picture. So no matter what pencils you're using, just make your first run through really light, and then your second run through where you're really putting some pressure down on there and building up some layers. And see, you can't see me adding just a whole lot at a time, That's why it's a little pressure at a time to get that outline or that darker in there to make those items pop. Take your time with it. The background for this, sat and watched a show on TV, and I worked on it the entire time I was watching the show. So it is not something that's going to happen fast. Even in the book Small Victories, it's still going to take you some time. But when we go back out and look at that, look at the difference. Okay? So I am not going to finish this whole thing right now because it will take some time. And I've got 2 other pages that I would like to show you. All right, so just finishing up here. And also, when you're doing something like that, I'm using number 51. I know that right here is going to be darker. All right? Because it's down in that area where I would just darken it to push all this other to the front. So right there, I'm actually going to put 51. That way, if my pencils get separated, I know what pencil I was using. Okay, let's look a little bit more. Let's see where my other blue pages are. I did these just this afternoon also, and if you saw this video, it's the same colors that I used for those. Okay, here's one. Now I used number 41 and number 38. See how I numbered it? So that I could remember what I was doing. So 31, and did I say 31? 41. Okay, I was like, I don't have a 41 pulled. So 41 and 38. And 38. All right, so first of all, taking my lighter shade, which is called Sky, and it's number 41. And you can see here how it's all streaky looking, and if that's the look you're after, that's fine. It's just not the look I'm after. So I come in here and just really start adding the next layer. I'm not trying to go dark, dark. I'm trying to blend out a lot of the streaky, like right here. Can you see where there's actually a white line in here? There's some white showing up in here. There's some overlap showing right there. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. I'm not trying to just cover everything. I'm just working on getting rid of the streaks, or maybe even making them more even, because this is still streaky. Down here you can see the streakiness, but it's more evenly done than this up here. This has not been touched over that much. So I just have to come back through. And again, I've told you in the past, here's another tip. When you're doing a background, try to do the entire background in one setting, because you know how much pressure you've been putting on that pencil, and it's more apt to be more evenly distributed. Whereas if you start and then you come back and you're not using the same amount of pressure, you're going to have a hard time getting all those streaks balanced. But see how I'm just going over it and over it. Doesn't matter how big or how small your areas are. And I'm not going to worry about getting rid of that or that yet, because, okay, the other that was the other number. There you go. because I'm not going to finish all of this right now either. But I'm telling you to finish all yours when you do it. Yes. So, but yeah, so another tip is to be sure that you do all of it at one time. I am using more or less the same amount of pressure on all three of these backgrounds that I'm showing you. Oh, and I forgot to put my plastic sheet in. Okay, it did not copy over onto the next page, so I'm okay. Put that in there. Yes, we're going to that one next. You are absolutely right. So, yeah, so because I'm using more or less the same pressure on all three of these pages, that's why I didn't worry about doing all of it all at once. Can you see how this is more evenly laid out than this is? Okay, that's what we're after. And then over to my second pencil, the blue number 38. This is where I would come in and actually start, well, I do have a little bit of a tip right there. I was going to say, actually, I'm going to sharpen it first, but I'm not. So I'm going to come in and then fade out. Normally, I would not do the ground blue like this, but it's just a whole lot easier because right here, there's not enough room to get my land in and my sky in. If it had been further apart like this one, then I could have done land down to about here and then changed over to sky. I could have just, you know, divided it up. But she didn't leave enough room that I felt comfortable doing that. So that's why it's not being done that way. All right, and then just fade it out. This fading out is like what I always do. I just feel like maybe it takes a little more explaining sometimes before everybody catches it. You know how a friend can tell you something and you're like, eh, and then somebody else tells you and you're like, oh, that's such a good idea. And your friend is like, but I told you that. Sometimes it's the same way with this. I'll tell you something and you may not catch it, but then if I say it again, or maybe even say it in a different way, you may catch it that time. So when you hear me repeating things, that's why. Or maybe it's because we have somebody new that hasn't been here before, and maybe they haven't heard it. Okay? And yes, when I'm in these little areas, that's a good time to stop and sharpen that pencil. But I'm closer to the area than you are, and I can tell where the little points are on the tip of my pencil. So I know exactly how to turn my pencil to get that tip in there. Now you can see there's a line going through here. There's not so much a line going through here. So that tells me I need to come back and I've really got to start doing my little circles and blending. Also, my blending area, if you look, it's about the width of my pencil. So that tells me I can actually go out to about here. And this page still look well balanced. Yeah, I've still got, excuse me, just a little bit of croaky. Today for me is actually Sunday the 26th. I'm working a little bit ahead of time. I did take Sarah home yesterday. So our girl with the wisdom teeth out is no longer here. So I got laundry caught up, the kitchen all caught up, everything washed and done. Hopefully we will start putting up Christmas trees next week because I believe all of my sister's kids and her and everybody is coming our way for Christmas. Everybody's pretty local. There's one that's Michigan, but they'll be staying with his folks while they're in town, and then they'll just drive over. But everybody else is within driving distance, so it's not that big of a deal for anybody. But I just need to get everything done. So again, I go to my hernia doctor, I think it's on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday. So it's day after tomorrow. And hopefully he'll lift most of my restrictions. I still get a little bit sore. But I know what I can and can't do. I mean, hernias are nothing new for me. Having 6 at one time and doing it robotic like I did last month, that was new to me. But otherwise, I'm doing okay. So just that little bit of cough left from the cold I had the other day. And that didn't even last long. And yes, I did take a COVID test for it. I ended up with COVID last December and the December prior, and the flu last February. So just praying I don't get sick this year, or yeah, next month. I just need to have a healthy December. I really need a healthy December. It'll be the first one in 3 years. So you can see how I'm working on this though. So this comes around, so I could even bring this more around. Then comes in and up, and then this comes around, so I could even bring this out a little bit more to follow the shape. You see what I'm saying? And then I could go back to the prior pencil that we were just using and do a little bit more blending right here, right at the edge. See how that just finishes getting rid of that line? And the circles will keep me from getting some streaks. Okay, that good? Let me know if you have questions on that. All right. Okay, moving right along. This page. I sat and did this while watching TV too. I just decided I was going to get some of, that was a prior video. If you missed it, go back and catch it. I decided that I was going to get some of these backgrounds done, the blue ones, while I was watching TV. So on this one, and these are all with the Grizaye pencils, powder number 42, I did the whole background. And you really have to watch, because when you get in here, some of this, you know, I almost went down in there thinking that that was a stem or something, and then I thought, no, that is part of this. So if you have a leaf coming from here, see where it goes to, because you don't want to color in a bunch of stuff and then go, oh, that wasn't supposed to be colored. See, here was a problem. This is where the leaf wiggles, okay? And then this leaf is over the top. So that's the wiggle areas. So the water is showing through. And whatever is here is over here. Whatever is here is up here. So if I were to take this one page, were you able to see what I was even talking about? About these spots right here. So if I were to take this page and quarter it like that, this design is repeated. Flipped over here, flipped over there, and then flipped over here. So whatever you do in this section, do it in all the others. That way you won't get laid up behind. Grizaye Aqua number 40. I am going to go that way just a bit for you. And I'm going to have a seat and start coloring. Because this one is going to take a little bit more doing. So when I come in here then, I am going to do the V's. Now, I did there, so I'm going to go look for the other one. If you look for the other one right away, instead of doing a quarter at a time or moving across the page, then you'll be sure that you hit it all. Okay, so there, so that tells me you run over here. All right. I don't think I did that point a while ago. And then I'm going to come up here. Unless it's on top or bottom or side by side, if it's in this middle section, it's going to be 4 times. Otherwise, it may just be twice. Okay? That little bit right there while I'm thinking about it, and then go back to this one. Yeah, if I got quieter, it's because I sat down. Sorry. Okay, let's look at some of the side to side. So if I do that, I should still be in. So I'm going to do the points. See, just where all the points are. And then I would go across the page and do the other one. Got it? Okay, let's see if there's anything. I don't think there's anything that's really difficult. It's just a lot, because there is so much. And then you'd go do the one here, and then there and there. Okay. I'm just trying to decide what's most important to show you. All right, when you finish with all this, then you're going to ask yourself, what about this outside area? That's up to you. Do you want to use the lightest shade and just fade it out? Do you want to leave it alone? I don't know how much I want to mess with it. So for right now, I'm going to leave it alone. I know what colored pencils I used, so I can come back and get them again later and work it out. Yeah, just keep working along. After I've done a whole area, actually the whole thing, at the very end, I would come back and start blending. So I would come back with my original color and start coloring again over the whole thing. Now, why would I do the whole thing again? Can you see where parts of this are splotchy? So if I color it again, I'm not only blending, putting down more color, but I'm really taking care of the splotchy areas. Like right there for me, I can see a chunk of white. I can see a chunk of white right there. Do you see that right there? And when I come through and color again, I'm going to get rid of that. So that's why I want to color again. See, there's some white right there. And when I'm blending this, I'm getting rid of that. And some of you are saying, oh, that's too much work. You know what? It is some work, but in a minute, we're going to look at this side versus the other side. And you'll be able to tell if you think it's worth it. There's my alarm already. Goodness. So let me just blend these areas real quick, and then we'll take a look-see. Take a look-see. Is that actually proper English? Probably not. My daughter, gosh, the medicine that they gave her when she got her wisdom teeth out made her a little loopy. And at one point she looks at me and she goes, "Mom, you're not even speaking English. I don't know what you're saying." And I was like, "Oh, don't take that meds anymore." So, and she didn't. That's when she went to ibuprofen. Okay, now, can you tell the difference in this and this? Just those two areas. Let me lean the light out a bit just to see if I can get it all. Nope, that wants to fall over now. Come on, stand up, light. Work with me. Or don't. Sorry about that. Okay. Nope, it's going to fall over. Goodness. Okay, so can you see, though, the difference where I've got this finished and this is not? This is just so much more interesting, coming through here and seeing the lights and darks, and then coming over here and seeing just the light. That's why I do it. You know, that's why I do it. And when I get down in here, and I'll show you this page again once I get it finished. But see, all that's tucked down in there, and then it comes out. This is tucked. This is tucked. Right here is tucked in. So just did kind of the front sides of those. And then I'll come in and blend it. And look how much more interesting that looks than the one right here that's just the one color. Okay? So I'm just trying to get you to see that you can do that little bit extra and your pages will just look that much better. Okay? All right. So if you want to see anything else on this page or any of the other pages done on video, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep working on these on my own. So I need to know what page you would like to see done. Is there anything in particular? Why did I choose a blue background? Because I think I'm going to make this into a cardinal. It's got the little tuft, so it either screamed cardinal or blue jay, and I'm thinking cardinal. This around here, I am going to do with that same blue. All right, so if you're debating, you want to work ahead, go ahead and do that the same if you're coloring along with me. Okay? All right, well, I will see you in a few more days. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And yeah, leave me comments. I do read and respond. Have a good one. Bye-bye.